Hi guys. So it's actually been 45 minutes and I've let the auto lease process happen. You can do it from, 20 to 45 minutes. And then we want to we're going to put our bowl back on our scale, zero it out, and you can see that it's a very rough dough. Zero it out, and we're gonna add 20 grams of fine sea salt, and you sprinkle it all over the top. I already measured it out that it's 20 grams, but you can do it right into the scale. Then zero your scale out, and we are going to add 50 grams of 80-degree water. And I had said before that we were adding, it was a 70% hydration dough, but because we were adding 75 grams total water, the 70 before, the 700 before and the 50 now, never mind. That's 50. Never mind what I was saying. Yeah, we're doing a little over a 70% hydration dough. So now you mix in the yeast, the salt and the water. No yeast. Ignore that word. There is absolutely no yeast in this dough. When I made the starter, I didn't even use anything to boost it like grapes or apples or any yeast. Some people do, which I find strange if you're making starter in order to avoid yeast in your bread and have it be a true sourdough. So you can hear maybe the squishiness of it. It kind of feels kind of strange to try to incorporate the water in, but you really just squish it and then fold it on itself so all the water gets in there. It takes a minute because it just kind of wants to stay on the surface, but you just keep grabbing it and working it in that way. You can flip it over and keep doing it. You can see that it's already becoming a little smoother in spots just by adding that, having rested and adding a little bit more water. I'm gonna turn it over on itself a bunch of times until all the water is definitely incorporated and the salt is in more than one place. Mixed thoroughly all through the bread, not in one salty bite anywhere. I like to turn the bowl while I do it. So you can see, at this point, I'm just bringing it up and over itself. I'm not really squishing it anymore because it is in there pretty well. Maybe a couple more squishes, like grabs, squishes. And then I'm going to turn it into a clean bowl for it to do its first bit of rising. The first few hours, I would say 3 hours, a few hours, depending on how warm your house is. It may take as much as up to 5 hours if your house were really cold. But it's called bulk rise or bulk proof. And every half hour, we are gonna turn the dough and show you that when we get to it. So every half hour for the first 2 to 3 hours, we are going to turn the dough. Then after that, we are going to separate it, divide it into two, and actually we're not going to separate it into two at that point. Then we're going to let it rise in its bowl undisturbed for a few hours. So now that I've done this and worked all the water and salt in, I'm gonna put it in this clean bowl. And you can see that it's much smoother, but it's still not really smooth and soft. It's really pretty tough. I've worked up the glutens now in the dough, and so it's pretty not soft and pliable. So we're gonna cover this, set the timer for a half hour, and then we'll do the first turn.